Hello, this is Alicia and Miguel's podcast, and we are tackling a couple of questions that we've been wondering about the retreats in Archbishop McCarthy. So, I guess the first question we can ask is why or why not are, retreats in Archbishop kind of necessary? So, what do you think about this?
I think that retreats are necessary because they're kind of like a little getaway from school, and at the same time you're learning more about your faith that sitting in a classroom really can't teach you.
I can definitely build on that because from my own personal experience, the retreats in general, where what she said, a getaway is basically the perfect term because you kind of get away from all the stress and anxiety you get from the everyday school life, and you also at the same token get to find yourself and kind of find your faith in a sense. So, in my personal experience, it was like something that I truly needed to kind of build off my character, and I guess you can kind of feel the same way, right?
I mean, I've never been on a retreat myself, but I would really love to go because there's been nothing but positive reviews from my friends who have been.
Excuse me.
At this time, if you happen to have any canned goods for the food drive in your room, please bring them to the iCatholic. At this time, Mr. Cavone is receiving any last-minute canned goods or food items. Please take a peek through your room, and if there's any in there, please send them down to iCatholic. Have a great day.
I'm sorry about that.
And my friends have just said that they had all around a good experience, and I just wish I could get to share that experience. So I would definitely be going on the next retreat.
Okay, that is our first question for our first segment of this podcast.
The next segment that we are introducing on this podcast is whether or not retreats teach you more about your faith than sitting in a classroom and learning about it.
I can definitely say that is a definite yes, because in theology, in faith class, you kind of are only getting the facts and the bare minimum that you can kind of get out of faith. And in relation to going on a retreat and kind of finding yourself, mostly all retreats aren't even mostly about God. They're about finding yourself in God. And for me, that's the best thing, because it annoys me personally when people are like, praise God, but you don't know the background and you don't understand, what's really happening behind closed doors. And in most cases, you build faith off personal experiences with your friends, family, and even yourself. So I can kind of say that going on a retreat and trying to find yourself with your friends and family and, staff is completely, utterly different than kind of just getting the bare minimum in class.
Yeah, when you learn, it's just right now in faith for the juniors, it is just learning by yourself because the classroom is too big of an environment to actually sit down and teach you stuff about your faith. So it's mostly you just doing projects on your own. But when you go on a retreat, it's like you have people telling you these experiences about not just learning about their faith, but actually experiencing things that made their belief in God and their faith stronger. And that's just something that a textbook can't teach you.
So this is our third and final segment of the podcast. And for this one, we're tackling the question, how do retreats positively affect your life? And here's Alicia with that.
I think that retreats positively affect your life because they strengthen your relationship with God, and they just they give you more of real experiences than just the learning about the Bible or learning about a textbook would, because usually in retreats they talk about real things that have happened to real people, not just events that were written about 100 years ago, which is something more people can identify with today.
I can definitely agree with that, in the sense that when you go on a retreat, you kind of build a family, and for me, that's the best thing. And from my personal experience, building a family or becoming friends with someone on a very deep level helps you with your everyday life. And just that alone, knowing that someone's there for you, knowing that you can lean on someone whenever you have a problem, is, in my opinion, the best the best situation in any case. So I would definitely agree that going on a retreat positively, and that is kind of a harsh term, because I would say more it changes you in a sense, because you kind of look at things different. So definitely it positively affects you in every way.
Going on thank you. That's all.
And that's our podcast for how retreats kind of affect you in your life. Thank you. So I'm here with Mr. Cabrio, the head of Transfig.
How you doing?
So why or why not do you think that retreats are necessary for the whole Archbishop McCarthy community?
All right, from my perspective, McCarthy is built on three pillars, and that's academics, athletics, the arts, and campus ministry. So I should say four pillars. And for me, the retreats kind of showcase what campus ministry is all about in our school. So we learn theology here at school, but retreats kind of exhibit what's called practical theology. It's about service, and so I run the retreats to have the leaders showcase their gifts and talents brought onto them from their environment.
Pardon the interruption. Ethan Cagney, please report to Student Services. Ethan Cagney, please report to Student Services. Thank you.
So sorry for that interruption. Based on their environment and the way they were brought up and their morals and values, and I cultivate a kind of a melting pot of leaders that give back and give service to the juniors or to the sophomores, wherever it may be, whatever retreat it's on, and allow them to have basically a friend to talk to, a friend to share their problems with, and someone to kind of look up to as a role model. And so I do the retreats for one main reason. Number one, to kind of get away, a couple of reasons. Number one, to get away from kind of the regular routine of getting up in the morning, going to school, and then going back home, and we get so stuck in these ruts. So I try and circumvent that by creating an outlet. And I think it's a way to kind of look at life and look at faith and look at your family dynamic, and also build a little bit of self-confidence in the meantime. So I think I try and do it so that's create a positive atmosphere in themselves, but also take that same type of momentum home and allow them to instill that same appreciation for life and themselves and their family. And hopefully it's a dynamic effect, kind of like a butterfly effect, like it will affect more and more as the years pass on.
Thank you.
You got it.
So I'm here with Mateo Herrera.
Hey, how you doing?
So why do you think retreats are necessary for the whole Archbishop McCarthy community?
For the Archbishop McCarthy community, I think it's a good idea because it brings people together, and especially in Transfig, for me, personally, it brought a whole weight off of me, and I think that did for everybody. Everybody came closer. Everybody talked about their problems and what situations they were going through, and everybody helped with each other. And it's basically a new family, and it's such a good thing to have.
Thank you.